Well, does it look dark and gloomy? Now, it may look like I'm just trying to look cool wearing my old sweatshirt here, but actually, I'm not trying to look cool. I'm trying to be warm. It, it has taken a turn for the cooler here in Sacramento this morning, and it is raining outside, so I don't even have the Venetian blinds pulled. And I'm just back from my morning walk, bundled up with an umbrella to get my morning cup of coffee. So excuse my wardrobe this morning. Anyway, I was all set to talk about the consecration, that part of a magical ritual that you do when you sort of purify and bless and consecrate, literally dedicate your magical weapons or yourself toward the great work. And I was all set to do that. But in doing that, I ran across that picture of Constance from a long ago Rite of Saul that we mounted in our backyard, her Raha Lodge, back at Costa Mesa. And I believe it was, we could pinpoint the date because it was the day before our son. It was the Sunday before the Monday our son was going to start high school, his first year of high school. And he played Saul in the Rite of Saul. And there are no lines for the character that plays Saul. They just have to be the sun god, okay? Wear a white robe and a beautiful nemes, Egyptian nemes, and a leopard skin, and holds a spear, and he communicates by knocking. So we said, you'd love it. You'd love doing this. And he said, I don't know. You know, he's a teenager. It's mom and dad having their friends over doing all of this. And he said, no, it's really cool. You don't do anything. You don't have to say anything. You just have to be God. You just have to be the sun god and knock a couple places. And toward the end of the ceremony, we crucify you on a big red cross, and all you have to do is hang there. And his eyebrows go up, and you don't have to say anything. Just hang there and look like you're dead. And then afterwards, we'll take you down from the cross and we'll put you in a coffin and put a lid on the coffin. All you have to do is lay there, and no one sees you there. So you can pick your nose, do whatever, but just lay there. It'd be easy. And then a guy toward the end will dance on the top of your coffin, and so it'll be kind of loud there for a minute. But you don't worry about it. Nothing's going to happen. And then after that, toward the very end, your mom will, they'll turn on some music, and your mom will come and open the coffin and sort of look sad. And maybe she'll lean down and sort of caress you or something, and then we'll put the lid back on, and then pretty much that's all you have to do, and it'll all be over. And then afterwards, to commemorate your first day of high school tomorrow, afterwards at the party, at the feast afterwards, you can take the cross, that red cross, you can take it around the party, and people will pin money to it. It'll be like your bar mitzvah, okay? And he wasn't going to do it until we told him he could do that afterwards. And he did that after. But anyway, that's a DuQuette family story. If Jean-Paul, you're watching, thank you. Thank you very much for being such a good sport all the years growing up. Anyway, so in the same material, I ran across the challenges and rewards of being married to another magician. And I thought I'd share that with you today, and we'll wait for the hints for how to consecrate your magical weapons or talismans or anything. Perhaps we'll do that tomorrow. Anyway, here we go. Challenges and rewards of being married to another magician. And it starts off with a poem that I wrote. Well, from time to time, I marry people. In California, anybody can marry anybody else, not wed anybody, but to perform the ceremony. If you get the paperwork and you sign off as the officiant, and I guess if push came to shove, the people that you're marrying would affirm that you're a pastor in whatever church they believe in, kind of thing. California, it's very easy. In other states, you have to jump through more legal hoops to marry people. Like I married Wald and Ruth Ann Amberstone in New York, and the state of New York is really strict. I had to get all sorts of my EGC credentials notarized and sent in with a fee and everything else. And then I could only marry people for 24 hours if coming from out of town, you know. But anyway, it's pretty easy. So very often I start the ceremony off by saying this poem that I wrote, and I think I wrote it for when I officiated at the wedding of our son Jean-Paul and Miwa, and so I start this little essay off with this: a marriage secret. When two strong souls and two strong wills and two strong minds unite, there will come rounds when standing your grounds will turn into a fight. So here and now, before reciting your vows and while you're high as a kite, agree that one of you will know everything and the other will always be right. This compromise is very wise. You'll use it day and night. It's an understanding that's not demanding. It's unbreakable, try as you might. So leave behind the undefined and step boldly into the light of a world where one of you knows everything and the other is always right. I don't know if the above sentiments are really the ultimate secret of marriage, but they certainly ring true in the DuQuette household. Constance and I discovered in the early days of our marriage, and we were married in 1967. In the early days of our marriage, that when we discuss, and in parentheses, argue about, when we discuss or argue about important matters, each of us contributes a unique and ultimately accurate assessment of the issue. I'm usually armed with an arsenal of facts and objective observations, but I'm quick to jump to conclusions, and I'm inclined to pragmatically or emotionally surrender my ideals under the inescapable weight of objective reality. Constance, on the other hand, possesses the absolutely annoying ability to immediately grasp the deeper spiritual dimensions of any manifested issue or question. Furthermore, and to make matters doubly infuriating, she has the guileless audacity to give perfect voice to the moral, spiritual, and philosophical truth underlying the entire situation. In other words, I may know everything, but she's always right. A relationship such as ours could hardly be called serene. But when all is said and done, it has produced a life of profound serenity. I won't try to kid you, we argue. We argue a lot. Familiarity really does breed contempt, and so far we've enjoyed 56 years of familiarity. We argue because occasionally she actually needs to hear the cold hard facts and the perspective of a flawed and perpetually adolescent mortal. And I ultimately need to hear the voice of God and understand what those cold hard facts actually mean to my soul. Together since 1978, now that's not our marriage, 1978 we were chartered a lodge of OTO. Together since 1978, Constance and I have directed the activities of a lodge of the OTO. We've organized, set up, performed, torn down, and cleaned up after hundreds, I'm not exaggerating, hundreds of degree initiations, Gnostic Masses, public rites, plays, celebrations, and literally thousands of classes and workshops. Don't think that's so much, 56 years or 40 some years, it adds up. Okay. All of these events have taken place in classrooms and temples and theaters created from the space and furnishings of our home, from our living room, from our garage, from our backyard. End tables become altars and fonts. Plant pedestals become ritual columns, and curtains become veils. Let's see, I gotta turn the page here. It's hard work. And because of her need for neatness and perfection, and because of my inherent laziness and sloppiness, Constance always ends up doing 99% of the physical labor involved. Each event is preceded by prolonged and spirited discussions in which I know everything about one thing or another, and she's always right. But from out of all the tension and conflict is born something very magical. A world rare and wonderful. A safe and relatively stable environment to raise our son. a culture or subculture atmosphere filled with stimulating conversation, art, music, and literature. A universe peopled with some of the most interesting, talented, brilliant, and colorful individuals in the world. Together, our craziness has enriched and transformed our lives and allowed two magicians with extremely different styles and temperaments. It's allowed us the freedom to do our individual great work while sharing our lives and our love with the world. Perhaps our most important collaboration has been the creation of the presentation of the Miracle of the Mass, our all-day public seminar on the OTO's Mass of the Gnostic Church, Gnostic Catholic Church, more commonly referred to simply as the Gnostic Mass. In the last, it's well over 25 years, we've presented this seminar from Tokyo to Oslo and throughout the United States. It has recently been recorded and serialized on the internet. And I believe that's in the Voice in the Silence series. You can Google that and see the YouTubes of the entire, I don't know how many hour thing that is. The Gnostic Mass is a ceremonial tour de force of sexual alchemy, and in many ways is one of the most beautiful and most important contributions from Aleister Crowley to Western esotericism. It is, quite frankly, the essence of the mysteries of the Holy Grail. Our love for and appreciation of this ritual made our collaboration uncharacteristically civil, and our usual volatile chemistry transmuted to create a serious and authoritative commentary on the ceremony in particular and sex magic in general. Constance and I have yet to collaborate on a full book or musical project, which is perhaps a good thing. But in the early 90s, we began collaboration on an art project that's likely to last long after we both have moved on to our next incarnational adventures. I'm talking about the Tarot of Ceremonial Magic, our deck of tarot cards. I believe there's perhaps no more perfect example of the challenges, tribulations, and rewards of a homemade magic operation than the story of the creation and the eventual publication of this deck of cards. Now, so much has had to be interrupted, changed, damaged, destroyed during the 3 years of this pandemic challenge and the challenges of us being rudely uprooted from our literally the same house for 22 years, and what finds us here now in chilly Sacramento. And so pretty much our outreach here on Facebook and YouTube has had to replace a whole lot of things. And Constance, in particular, has supplemented, our usual magical input of literature and things with other supplemental readings that are enriching and hybridizing our magical lives and have made things richer and a source of more of this spirited conversations and things. Do you have anything to add before I end today, dear?
You've been very kind. Lon's not one for spirited conversations, so. So I make it difficult for him. I like to talk about everything. Well, this morning, I'm going to tell about our relationship. This morning, I was washing my hair because in the kitchen sink, because showers are ineffective. And I rinse my hair in cold water, just like I splash cold water on myself after a bath, because for some reason I think you should jump in the river after you bathe. I have no idea why. It seems like a good idea. And I told Lon that, of course he knows that, and he said he doesn't like that. And I said, well, it tempers you like a Japanese sword. And of course, then I went into the kitchen for about 20 seconds again and said, he says he's more like Japanese mochi, which is pounded rice, glutinous rice that you malleable, that you make into a little pocket and you put red bean paste into it. Anyway, and other things. Anyway, it's sweet. Anyway, and so I went back into the kitchen. I giggled and went back into the kitchen again for another 20 seconds and came out and said, sword cuts mochi. Mochi gums up sword. There you go.
Thank you for those words of wisdom. Moshi's like the Pillsbury doughboy kind of thing. Yeah.
Glutinous rice.
It's glutinous. It's
Sticky.
yes. All right, dear.
Going to go clean my sword.
Go clean your sword, and I'll go eat something glutinous. Until tomorrow, continue to be good to yourself, be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law.
Love is the law, love under will.
See you tomorrow, we hope. Thank you, dear.